We have over 500,000 children in the foster care system right now, and we don't have enough parents for all of them. Everything we can do to expand that pool, the better likelihood is we'll have finding permanent homes for these children.
All children in our country deserve and need to have a permanent family that they can grow up in, and all families should have the support of our communities, of our government resources, to be able to offer what they have available to children.
Working with the LGBT community is one way to find permanent, loving, nurturing homes for these youth.
We've wanted a baby for a long time. We have this big house, and we're pretty far along in our careers, and we thought it would be great to have a child.
Was good.
Being gay or lesbian no more encompasses your full life as being heterosexual encompasses your full life. These are people who have jobs and ties to community and an ability to raise children and nurture children and love children. Those are the skills we want to see, we want to assess on a case-by-case basis.
And that wasn't it. One more.
Margaret and I adopted a child 6 years ago. He was 5 years old. He came out of the Alexandria foster care system, and he's 11 now. And he's absolutely thriving.
All right, go see how high you can go. See, this is a good lookout point, huh?
Donnell is involved in football, baseball, lacrosse, wrestling. Just recently started playing the electric guitar.
Let's go, Knights!
You have to tell them.
There's Mommy Joy and Mommy Margaret. We do everything as a typical family would, and we're parents.
I first met Margaret and Joy about a little more than 10 years ago. They've been coming to this church for more than 15 years, I believe. And when they adopted Donnell, I did his dedication and his adoption ceremony to welcome him into the community. Joy and Margaret are wonderful parents. They are parents that are both able to express their values to a child so that there's no doubt about what they think is right and wrong, and show that they care about the child so much that they welcome him into their lives, and they very much are supportive of his life in school, in sports, in church. They've got each other's backs. They're each other's friends, and his parents are setting really great example for him because they're people who have high values and real morals.
There are times when people have stepped forward to volunteer, to open their hearts, to open their homes to kids, and because of other issues that other people perceive, like an LGBT family, for example, they sometimes have experienced discrimination against being considered as a foster parent, or even more importantly, an adoptive parent.
We were aware that if we stayed in Virginia, the rule was single people can adopt, but there wasn't a blanket rule against an openly gay person adopting a child. So we immediately went to the local child services here, went through their curriculum, went through a very rigorous, long home study, and at the end of the interview said basically point blank, you know, your chances of getting a child in our county are slim to none.
It was hard because it just I felt very violated that they would, you know, have us divulge and be so honest and then just sort of throw it in our face.
So this is one of the main themes though, right? I mean, look at this. How does it feel to be tolerated? If somebody tolerates you, what are they doing? What does it feel like to be welcomed? At ease? Yeah, at ease, exactly. It's the first time an entire state is training its whole workforce on this. It's incredibly exciting. Toward the goal of getting the HRC, All Children, All Families, seal of recognition.
We are ensuring that the LGBT community knows that we're welcoming and we're affirming, and that we really want them to consider opening up their homes to foster and adoptive children. It's really working to ensure the cultural competence of our staff.
One of the things that we did was really focus on values and beliefs that the individual workers have that might get in the way or may help them to be more welcoming and more engaging.
Training is necessary because some still are not accepted.
I think everyone probably came in here thinking they were doing it right already. What this is teaching them, I hope, is areas that they can always build.
Some LGBT families don't believe that they can adopt. We have families out there that are untapped. All Children, All Families is a process that agencies could go through to become more welcoming and competent in working with the LGBT community.
It sort of allowed us to go the next step. Instead of an agency that worked with, we stepped up our game and became an agency that wanted LGBT-headed families as resources for our children. And I think a lot of that was influenced by being part of the All Children, All Families initiative.
Once we did the agency self-assessment, it was pretty clear that there were some areas that we needed to improve on and that we needed to tweak some of the department's mission statements and the non-discrimination policy and that kind of thing. We got training top to bottom within the division, and it was very encouraging to see the enthusiasm of our staff come through. That, hey, you know what, there's more we can do in the LGBT community. There are more families to be recruited. We certainly got enough kids that we need homes for, so let's get out there and really start working even more in that community.
During the entire process, I would say that not once did we ever feel that we were being discriminated against because of our sexual orientation. Not once did I feel like we were being treated any differently than anyone else would have been. Overall, it was a very positive experience for us.
Right. Sometimes I speak at some of their meetings. I just find that so wonderful that I can be a single gay man with a daughter sitting in front of 30 or 40 people that are going to have children, and I am their model.
I think earning the seal has made a difference in that families know that we are a welcoming and competent agency and feel more comfortable in coming to us. We had a recent matching event. Maybe 50% of the families were same-sex couples. We're seeing a pattern overall of more LGBT applicants coming forward.
All Children, All Families is important not only as a kind of providing basic education and understanding around cultural competency working with the LGBT community, also requires organizations to think through their practices and their commitment to welcome gay and lesbian families into the process for adoption.
It has really offered us a different set of lenses to look through to enrich and enhance the practices that we have. We know that the information that has been gathered from All Children, All Families has been evidence-based, and that's something that we believe in and that we want to practice, and in certain areas like in recruitment. Yes, it is significant for us to increase the number of LGBTQ resources.
Well, Imani heard about the Child and Family Services through HRC, and we went to the orientation, we listened to what they had to say and all what was involved, and we said, why not? We can do this. We can do it right here in DC.
There were a couple of bumps in the road. We probably got a social worker there who hadn't dealt with LGBT folks like us before. And so there was a learning curve. Child and Family Services has a panel for LGBT parents and children who are LGBT. So they really are at the forefront of providing education and training for this. And they called a meeting between our social worker and the social worker's supervisor.
We learned that there was a concern from our resource parents The first step was definitely bringing them in so we can hear what the concern was. We want our families to know, our resource parents, that we're going to listen. And if there is a concern, yes, we are going to go in the belief that, whatever it is, that we can work together to resolve it.
I think we cleared the air and we're moving forward.
When we went to Alexandria, we were treated exactly the same as all the other families.
Our being gay was a non-issue. That was so refreshing. The things that they dealt with and asked were so much more about parenting and our beliefs about parenting. It felt like we were talking about the things that were important that we needed to be talking about.
We need to get kids in homes. That's the bottom line. We really need to get kids in loving, stable, and affirming homes. Does it really matter who heads up that household if they are good people, if they have good hearts, and if they really want to contribute to society by providing a home to some of our kids who need a place to grow up and feel safe?
I want to be looked at just as any heterosexual couple that wants to adopt. To me, we're a family, and no one can take that from us.
If I could tell an agency one thing to do if they were going to recruit LGBT folks to parent, seek out a culturally competent training program about lesbian, gays, bisexual, and transgender folks.